everyone, and welcome to May's Crochet. I am Rachel, and today we are going to talk about crochet kits. Now, I learned how to crochet with a YouTube video, a hook, and some yarn one night in the hospital. My first project was not good. It was a very wonky blanket that I pulled apart and eventually stitched back together to make it look much nicer and something someone might actually want to use. However, I understand the appeal of a crochet kit because it's not just an endless barrage of stitches that you put together and maybe hopefully someday get a blanket. It is a finished product, usually a stuffy at this point is mostly what I'm seeing, with all the materials you need and the instructions. But my question is, are they worth it? Now, after 8 months of just doing a bunch of stitches and making a couple of blankets, I got a crochet kit for Christmas. Now, you may have seen a lot of kits like this, possibly, where it's a themed kit. This is my friend's kit that my husband bought me a couple of years ago. I've had several, and they usually come with enough materials to make like 2 projects in there and then a book full of maybe 12 or 13 projects. This is the first one I got, and honestly, it's not beginner friendly. None of them have been beginner friendly. Now, they have several pages at the beginning that tell you what you need to do, how to do the stitches that they mention in the book, but there's no video to go with it. There's nothing. I pretty much had to look up everything on YouTube that they told me to do that I didn't know how to do because I'd never crocheted in the round before. So I've actually bought these 4, and then, like I said, Brad bought me this one a couple of years ago, and really what you're paying for is the book inside more than anything. In my experience, all of the materials have been kind of crap. I'm not gonna lie, the yarn is usually terrible. The Harry Potter hook was plastic shaped like a wand, and it just bent. It was an absolutely awful experience. So what you get inside, really not worth it. Gotta be honest. They usually range, I've seen them from $20 up to $40. And really, again, all you're paying for is a little book inside. I don't know if you can get the books individually. I would hope so, because the materials they come with, absolutely terrible. I even read a few reviews of one, I think it was the Harry Potter one, that said they didn't even have enough yarn to finish the doll inside. Then again, that could be based on their tension or how they're doing it. I don't know. But bottom line is, these are not a great way to learn how to crochet. If you already know, again, you're just paying for the book at this point. So there's that. I also really need to get back to working on some of these that only have 1 or 2. I haven't even opened this one yet. But anyway, that's not the point. However, finding crochet kits out in the wild can be difficult. They're not everywhere. So those big themed ones I bought completely in the store. Other than that, I don't see them very often, if ever. I was at Walmart and found this one by Red Heart, which very odd to find them at Walmart. This one was $9.97. They had about 6 different little animals, and this inspired me to do this video. I was like, what if I do this super cheap one and then find a different one online? But instead, I'm gonna save this for something another day, and what I thought would be more fun would be to check out the Woobles. Now, the Woobles is a very viral online crochet kit. I've been seeing them for years, and I wasn't quite sure how long I had seen them, but I don't feel like I saw them when I first started crocheting, so I looked it up. And they did not start as a company until July of 2020, so 4 years ago, after I had already started amigurumi. So if I saw any advertisements for them, I thought, well, I don't need that. I already know how to do it. However, for the purposes of this video, I thought, well, you know what, I'm gonna look them up and actually see what they're about, because of what I look up, what I search for, they're being advertised to me all the time because I'm always looking up yarn or crochet patterns, something like that. So the Woobles are all over any site, anytime I open a browser. And I finally checked them out. They're not cheap. I was actually very surprised at the price point. I couldn't believe how much they were asking for a kit with a few items in it and 1 pattern. Like, I don't know, that seemed extreme to me. A lot of the patterns on their website are $25 to $30. Now, $25 is the pattern without a hook, and $30 is the pattern with the hook. And that just seemed extreme. And this is before shipping and taxes. So I'm not sure how much they are with those things. I went to Amazon and found the same thing for $35. I have Amazon Prime, so free shipping. Therefore, it probably all comes out in the end as a wash. So the $35 I paid would be the extra $5 in shipping. However, the ones on Amazon did not ask whether or not you wanted a hook. They all came with a hook. So feeling super confident that the price point was completely unnecessary, I decided to go ahead and get the kit, see if it was actually worth anything, and then also try to make the same thing with cheaper materials that I had to source myself from, Walmart and Michael's. But I'm like, if I can get in the car and go do it, then I wouldn't have to pay that much. So that's what this video is. It is me making 3 separate dinosaurs, one from a very expensive viral crochet kit, and 2 others of kits, I guess, that I made myself for cheaper. I had a $10 budget with Walmart, a $25 budget with Michael's. I went just a little over. And then the kit, like I said, the Woobles kit that I bought on Amazon is $35. The only thing I assumed anybody would have if they wanted to start this was a pair of scissors. That's the only thing. Everything else I bought to see if I could make the same dinosaur 3 times. So I'm going to hand over the video to voiceover Rachel, make 3 dinosaurs, and then come back with my final thoughts.
So first I tried Dollar Tree, and all I saw was yarn, no hooks, no knitting needles, nothing. So that was kind of a bust. But then later in the week, I went to a different Dollar Tree after I'd already made everything for this video, and I actually found kits in the crafting section. They were about $1.25. They had multiple options. However, it does look like the hook is just plastic, and I can't get behind that. Those are the worst. I try a thrift store, Goodwill, just some really cheap yarn and a bundle of random knitting needles, but this super cute Candyland blanket game, I wanted it so badly, but I didn't get it. Off to Walmart, $10 budget. Let's see what we can do. No ergonomic hook, too expensive. Plain aluminum for $2. Plastic needles and cotton yarn, $2 a pop. No polyfill, it's $6 over budget, but there are options. And then embroidery floss for 53 cents, and buttons, maybe wool Coraline eyes. Here is the acrylic yarn that is $1 more, but over twice as much yarn in a skein if you didn't want to do the cotton. And we're off to Michael's, which is dangerous this time of year because of Halloween decor. What is this pink monstrosity going on? Anyway, cotton yarn, $1 more skein, getting 2. And then treating ourselves to a nice ergonomic hook, metal needles, and some stitch markers. We are getting fancy. $6 for 12 ounces of polyfill. And they do have safety eyes, 3 pairs, no plain black ones in the size I needed, but brown. So I went with it. So now I've packaged them all nicely, very expert. Great job. Excellent. Okay, so starting off with Walmart, this is everything I got for $9.58. And it's going to be a struggle, but we're going to get it done. I hate aluminum hooks. Look at my face. Oh, I'm disgusted. Anyway, got to do it. Watching the pattern, getting started, and immediately an ad. Are you kidding me with this? But here we go. We're starting, working on it. Look at her go. She's having fun. How can she not have fun in that shirt that she stole from her husband? Her hand's already cramping. Come on. All right, this is the point where I think that the dino is too big and it's not going to work because I did not open the Woobles kit to see its pattern. I didn't want to be influenced accidentally by it. So I'm tearing this apart. I'm going to find a different pattern. This is all very ironic and you will see why later. Hands are cramping. Starting on the second attempt. Now we're at nighttime because I wasted so much time with the first attempt that I had stuff I had to do. So we're going to get it finished up. I am stuffing with another yarn. I did not get the polyfill at Walmart because yarn is also an option to stuff with. So I'm using the contrasting color, the yellow, and look, I have a stuffed tiny dino. That's a hack if you don't have any polyfill. Also, an old pillow or an old stuffed animal might have polyfill that's useful for stuffies like this. Sewing up the body. Oh, apparently I made arms at some point. I must have did a jump cut. Sewing those on. He's got arms. Oh gosh, next morning, and this is me having to get up to let the cat back in that I had just let out before I can get started finishing up our first dinosaur. It's already been a whole day and I haven't finished one tiny little dinosaur. There's Klaus. Here I am getting my audiobook back on, so I can get back to work. At this point, I'm working on the tail. We're still on the Walmart dinosaur. Coffee break. Finishing up the tail. Watching the instructions. Tail's getting sewn on. Now it's time for the back spikes, plates, frill, whatever you want to call it. It's a little hard at first, a little wonky, but I figured it out. And we got it on. Excellent. Sewing in the ends. So all that's left is to take this embroidery floss. I checked the buttons, but I decided I didn't want to mess with the buttons. So I just used the embroidery floss to embroider a couple little eyes on the guy. Again, 53 cents. Don't have to have safety eyes. I've never seen safety eyes at Walmart. That's why I went with the embroidery floss and the buttons. Again, didn't use the buttons, so I would not buy those a second time. And we are done. He looks kind of angry, but I would be too if somebody was holding me by my tail. And there's our Walmart dinosaur. I did not do the legs from the pattern on him or the Michaels one because the Woobles one does not have legs. Big stretch. That's what I have left in the yarn and the embroidery floss. And now for the Michaels dinosaur. This is everything I got from Michaels, including the polyfill, obviously. Same yarn, better hook, better needles. $25.90 was the total. So if you had a $25 gift card and an extra dollar, you could do this. I am doing the same pattern as I did for the Walmart dinosaur. I did all of this in one sitting. It took an hour and a half. So I went ahead and left all of this in at a ×8 speed. I did cut out any time I put the hook down or was not working on it so I could stop and look at the pattern or switch between the YouTube videos I was watching at the time. So if you do not want to watch this time lapse of me making this tiny little dinosaur, you can skip to the timestamp that's on screen now, because I'm not going to go over everything that I went through in the first one because it's the exact same pattern. But here he is, nice and cute, safety eyes, polyfill, and we're done. It's later that night, and we are going to open up this Woobles kit, finally. It's been sitting on my shelf for a couple of weeks now, so I'm very excited to see what the big fuss and all the money was about. I don't know what this black yarn's for, so I'm checking the packaging and I'm not seeing it on the outside of the dinosaur. It would all be made clear later as I made the dinosaur. Here's our main color and our accent color. A 4mm hook with an ergonomic handle, my favorite. Metal needle, that mysterious black yarn, and 3 safety eyes in case you messed up. There were also stitch markers. Here's the stuffing. And the pattern you have to access with the QR code and a password, though you can also put in just the website and the password as well if you don't have a phone to do that with. So they started everything off for me with a magic ring, which is kind of hard to master if you've never crocheted before. They also had to tie a knot in it so that if it did get pulled accidentally, it wouldn't pull out. So here we go, getting started. I'll be looking at my phone quite a bit to check the pattern, which you can download to the phone. I'll also be looking at my computer screen to watch YouTube videos again. But I do have to say the instructions were quite clear. There's a video for every single step. There are also extra videos to access to teach you how to do a single crochet, how to do a magic ring, how to increase, how to decrease, how to tie off. Literally everything you would need for this pattern. They have a video to do to show you how to do it, as well as show you every step of the pattern. It really couldn't be any clearer. To learn these things on your own, you would have to look them up separately on YouTube. I certainly have in the past, but they are all in one place for you, and it's just pretty brilliant. I gotta admit, my flabber is gasted. I did not expect it to be this thoroughly efficient. So the head is looking a lot bigger than I anticipated. Here's another cat reveal. And so I'm holding it up to my Michael's dinosaur, and the head is bigger than the entire dinosaur I made for Michael's. So clearly I chose poorly with the Walmart and the Michael's patterns. But I didn't know because I hadn't looked at the pattern for the Woobles, because again, I didn't want to be influenced in any way. Here I am counting to put on the safety eyes. This is always kind of a guessing game. I mean, they tell you what to do, but sometimes it doesn't always feel like you're getting them even. After 6 years of AMI, after 4 years of AMI, I still feel like I mess up a lot of the times and have to redo them. Looking like a frog, but that's okay. Here's all the stuffing. Finishing up the body. Now, I do need to comment on this yarn. It's excellent. Some people call it spaghetti yarn. It's very much like a knit t-shirt material, and it is hard to find in most craft stores, and it is expensive online. So this is a great way to start with crochet, because this yarn's not going to split. It's not like a 4-ply like a lot of acrylics and cottons can be, because when your yarn splits, especially when you're trying to learn and trying to get things right, and that happens, it is so frustrating where I can't even stand it. But here I messed up. Oh, no, I didn't mess up. They had a factory knot. So here I am complimenting the yarn, and I forgot about that factory knot. I hate factory knots. We all do. Anyway, making the tail. And the tail is going on. And that'll just leave the little arms and the spikes. Pretty dang cute, if I do say so. So they didn't have me make separate arms and sew them on. This is where I actually just go ahead and attach the yarn directly to the body and then make little arms already attached and just sew in the ends. Actually a lot simpler this way, especially since they're teeny tiny arms and nothing big. And then now we have the accent color to make the spikes. Now, I did forget to mention that the black yarn did turn out to be or embroidering eyes if this was for a small child or a pet, because safety eyes can still come out despite having the name safety in them. So that's what the black yarn's for. I didn't use it. I used the safety eyes provided. Here I'm struggling with the spikes, not sure what to do. So I actually did have to reference the videos that they had. So, hey, all these years in, I don't know everything. Got it figured out. One spike on. And now 5 spikes on. Look at that. Absolutely precious. They said to measure the length of your arm to get those stripes on the front embroidered. I could have embroidered stripes on the other dinosaurs, but yeah, I didn't want to. They weren't part of the patterns, and I was trying to follow patterns. If somebody was out there looking for these patterns that I'm going to link, I didn't want them to be like, why are there no stripes? Almost done, tying everything off in the back and then hiding in the ends. And we have Fred the dinosaur from the Woobles, who will not stand up on his own no matter what I do. Give up.
So what did we learn? I learned that I think it's worth it. I really do, if you have the money. If not, I showed you other ways to make a dinosaur on a budget. Now, this is a very nuanced conversation when it comes to not only money, but accessibility. I know there are a lot of places that are food deserts, which means they don't have access to a normal grocery store where they can just run off and get groceries once a week. They have to drive quite a while, which also means there's a very high chance that there is no craft store or even a Walmart close enough to get these items, and that's not going to be at the top of anybody's list. So maybe ordering them in the mail would be a better option. And another thing is that the Woobles is still considered a small business owned by a married couple. And if somebody wants to support them instead of a big box store or Bezos, then obviously, please do that. However, I didn't feel like this was a really great comparison because, again, these guys are tiny, teeny tiny compared to this much bigger Woobles. And it's not just the yarn and hook I used, it's also the pattern. So I also went ahead off camera and made a bigger one. This is from the Michaels yarn, and I didn't do all the spikes because I just got tired of making dinosaurs. What am I gonna do with 4 dinosaurs already? And are they even really T-Rexes? Did T-Rexes have plates or spikes on their backs? I don't think so. They're more like Dinozillas. Yeah. So I went ahead and did this with the Michaels yarn and stuffing, and I'm going to link all the patterns. This is the first pattern I started with on the Walmart one, and then I thought, oh no, that's too big, and then I quit and started over with a much smaller one. It is bigger, but it is more comparable in size to the Woobles. You could definitely achieve this with the Michaels. I'm not 100% sure about the Walmart. I'm not sure if you would have enough contrast color to stuff something this big. You can try it, but I don't know. However, an alternative would be to not buy the 2 cotton yarns for $2, not buy the buttons, that's $5 less, and then buy 2 separate acrylic skeins for $3 each. So you would be at $10.58 instead of $9.58 or somewhere in there, but you would definitely be able to achieve that at Walmart if you traded those things out. Now with the cotton yarn, this was not the best choice for this project. I just picked the smaller skeins of yarn because I was approaching this as someone who did not crochet, and if it was something that I didn't end up doing or, had so much trouble with that I quit, I didn't want a ton of yarn sitting around. That's why I picked the smaller balls of yarn that were made of cotton. However, I forgot how awful that cotton yarn is to do amigurumi with. It is very rough. It's rougher than some of the cheapest acrylic yarn I have ever touched, and it was not a great fit for Amy. I've done it once before, but it's been many years and I forgot how awful it is. So I would actually prefer an acrylic yarn over this one anytime. This can be okay for some clothes with a larger hook and looser tension, and then you get to wash those clothes with a fabric softener, and then it feels much better, but it is very rough to the touch and to try to make a stuffy with. This is great yarn. However, like I said during the segment where I was making it, it is hard to find in the store and it is expensive to buy online. So in summation, yeah, Woobles, I think if you have the money, worth it. If you're gonna do it on a budget, you will have to put in more of your own time to look up how to do certain things through various YouTube channels or other resources if you come across something in a pattern that you don't know how to do. Well, even reading a pattern. But the videos for the Woobles, very helpful, very thorough. Of course, it's skewed because I already have 5 years experience, but from what I could tell, it would be a great starting point if you've got the cash. So if you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, do all the YouTube things. Please let me know what to do with 4 dinosaurs, because I don't know. And I will see you in the next one. Bye! She's a little baby bunny! Oh, lips is so cute!